What an extraordinary writer was William Gass. Is. For his genius, his voice is ever present in his writings, the webs he so meticulously, joyfully spun. He claimed he had little interest in transcendence, though his thoughts seem forever to be transcending the bonds of argument. He revered immersion. The text was a deep and dangerous lake. Taking a cue from Stendhal, he likened the novel to a mirror accompanying us down life's road. But for Gass, the mirror was wayward. The images it recorded convoluted, multiple, inverted, simultaneous, continuous, pointless, cracked. That is to say, it reflected the way life is. He was impatient with half measures, any gesture less than devoted, extreme. He was a theorist, a philosopher, an artist, a critic. His book reviews were legendary. Sometimes he didn't even mention the book. His labyrinthian, lambent thoughts being far more interesting. But for those writers he adored, Stein, Gaddis, Lowry, his praise was passionate and precise. Here he is in an essay on Under the Volcano. Lowry hammered home themes like someone angry at the nail, yet buttered his bread on both sides and every edge, then, as if determined to destroy whatever mattered most, left manuscripts about like half-eaten sandwiches and emptied Marjorie of everything except the carton she came in. However, when one thinks of the general sort of snacky, under-earnest writers whose works like wind chimes rattle in our heads now, it is easier to forgive Lowry, his pretentious seriousness, his old-fashioned ambitions, his Proustian plans, his desire to pump into every sentence such significance as a Shelley or a Shakespeare had, to bring together on the page like fingers in one fist, sense, sensation, impulse, need, and feeling, and finally to replace the reader's consciousness wholly with a lackaday magician's, drunks, a fraud's, his own. And here he is on Robert Walser's writings. It moves in the way of an almost inarticulate metaphysical feeling, a response to the moves and meanings of both human life and nature, which is purged of every local note and self-interested particularity, and which achieves, like the purest poetry, an understanding mix of longing, appreciation, and despair, as if they were the pigments composing a color to lay down upon the surface of something passing, sweetly regretful, like the fall of light upon a bit of lost water, or a brief gleam caught in a fold of twilit snow, as if it were going to remain there forever. William Gass knew the limits of language, but then again he rejected those limits. Words redeemed the world. Texts were a temple, after all. Years ago, he put together a list of influential works. He called it 50 Pillars. It remains a pretty good list, but it's obvious now that he's a pillar too, to myself and many writers. He began at the top of his game, and he left at the top of his game. His loves were words and Mary and words. Sentence by sentence, the song is built, and immeasurable meanings meant. To end again on his own terms, I'll read this avowal of a literary work's purpose with its beautiful final image. It's from his essay, The Medium of Fiction. The purpose of a literary work is the capture of consciousness and the consequent creation in you of an imagined sensibility, so that while you read, you are that patient pool or cataract of concepts which the author has constructed, and though at first it might seem as if the richness of life had been replaced by something less so, senseless noises, abstract meanings, mere shadows of worldly employment, Yet the new self with which fine fiction and good poetry should provide you is as wide as the mind is, and musicked deep with feeling. While listening to such cymbals sounding, the blind perceive, thought seems to grow a body, and the will is at rest amid that moving, like a gull asleep on the sea. Thank you.